Hello, boys and girls. How's everyone doing today? We are going to be continuing with lesson 50. The first thing we're going to be doing is working in the textbook. So since you do not have your textbook, I have it up here on my display. And you will need your notebook and your pencil. So if you could write in your notebook on the top, lesson 50, and we're going to be doing part 1 right now. Okay, so you can see that we have some comparison problems here that we're going to be doing in your notebook. And so you're going to make your arrow, and I will read the problem to you starting with A. Okay, and it says, Ginger had 14 dogs. Then she sold some dogs. She ended up with 11 dogs. How many dogs did she sell? So we first need to identify the action sentence, the sentence that tells what she did to get more or less. And you should be looking at sentence 2. She sold dogs, right? So if she sold dogs, did she end with more or less? She ended with less. So therefore, E is the small number and S is the big number. Now go back in the story, reread the first sentence, and it says Ginger had 14 dogs, right? So if she had 14 dogs, that would be so if she had 14 dogs, is that the start number or the end number? That's the start number. So cross off S and change that to 14. And then let's go back and see what else the story tells us about. Is there another number sentence there? There is another number sentence there. The other number sentence says she ended up with 11 dogs. So what did that tell us about? That told us about the end number. So cross off E and replace that with 11. Now you have a big number and a small number. What are you going to do to solve for the other small number? You're going to subtract. Write down your subtraction problem and work it. Okay, and look up here. And did you get 3 as your answer? Good job. And then you would put 3 as the first small number. So this is just a little bit slightly different from what we've done so far, boys and girls, because usually in the action sentence, it gives us the first small number, and you're solving for either E or S. And so you can see that you have a third option now. So in addition to solving for E or S, you might also be solving for the first small number. So that's why I worked that one with you. Let's do B together. So looking at problem B, oh, I don't have that on here. So here is problem B. I will read that to you. A train started out with 90 people. Then some people got off the train. The train ended up with 10 people. How many people got off the train? Okay, so we first have to identify the action sentence that tells what happened for the train to get more or less. Can everyone touch that sentence? And you should be touching sentence 2. Then some people got off the train. So this action sentence is what's different now than the problems that we've always worked in the past. because in the past, this action sentence always gave us that first small number, and now it doesn't. So now you can see that that's what we're going to be solving for again, is that first small number. But anyways, it tells us that people got off the train. So did the train end with more or less? If people got off, the train ended with less, right? So E is the small number and S is the big number. Now let's read to see if we can replace the S and the E. Let's look at the first sentence. A train started out with 90 people. Which letter are you going to replace? The S. Okay, go ahead and replace the S. And then let's look at the other number sentence. The train ended up with 10 people. So that tells us about E. Go ahead and replace E. So if we have the big number and the small number, you're going to go ahead and write down your problem. Okay. And did you guys get 80 as the answer? If so, good job. Next, we're going on to, whoops, don't want to give you the answer. Next, we're going to go on to problem C. So let me show you your problem here. Okay. So for C, a train started out with 46 people. Some people got on the train. Oop, it doesn't give us our first small number, does it? The train ended up with 58 people on it. How many more people got on the train? Okay, so first touch the action sentence that tells what happened for the train to get more or less. Should be touching sentence 2. Some more people got on the train. If people got on the train, did the train end with more or less? The train ended with more. So E is the big number and S is the small number. Now we're going to reread the number sentence to replace the E and the S. A train started out with 46 people. Which one are you going to replace? S. Okay, go ahead and do that. And read your other number sentence. The train ended up with 58 people. So now you're going to replace the E. Okay, go ahead and write your number and work it and check your answer up here. Did you get 12 as your answer for C? If so, you did a great job. Good job working hard on these word problems. I know you're learning something new right now. Excuse me, my allergies act up in the morning. Okay, so next we are going to do a little bit of geometry with some three-dimensional shapes. I'm going to show you some shapes up here on my screen. And these shapes are not flat, but they have faces that are flat. So look at the cube here, for example. Just to review, okay? See the cube? Each face of this shape is a square, okay? So the front face is a square, the back face is a square, the top face is a square, the bottom is a square, and each of the two sides, the faces are squares, okay? This shape is called a cube. What is it called? A cube, like an ice cube or a dice, okay? Going on to the next shape here. This shape is a pyramid. What is it called? A pyramid, like the sand pyramids that you would see in Egypt. Look at the next shape. Look, that's also a pyramid. What is it? It's a pyramid. Same shape as this. And then the last one here, this is a sphere, okay? This shape is shaped like a ball, and you can roll it on the floor, okay? It's a sphere, okay? What is it called? A sphere. Let's review the names again. This is a cube. This is a pyramid. This is a sphere. And this is a pyramid. Good job. See if you can remember the names of those shapes. Next, we are going to practice doing some counting here together. So let's start with 36 and count by 9s to 90. Okay? So if you're at 36 and you go up 9, what would the next number be? 45. So it goes 36, 45, 54, 63, 72, 81, 90. Next, let's start at 55 and count by 5s to 95. So if we're at 55 and we go up 5, what number would be next? It goes 55, 60. Okay, let's start with 55 and count by 5s to 60. Ready? 55, 60, 65, 70, 75, 80, 85, 90, 95. Okay, next you're going to start with 16 and you're going to count by 4s to 40. So if you're at 16 and you're counting by 4s, what number comes next? Remember when we do the pattern, boys and girls, and you have 4 through 12 on the top, and then that second row I would always write on the board. Those are the numbers that are 16 through 40. So what number would come after 16 would be 20. So that's where the next row would start, right? So how does that work then? It goes 16, 20, 24, 28, 32, 36, 40. Next, you're going to start at 16 and count by 2s to 30. So if you're at 16 and you go up 2, what number comes next? 18. Good. Let's count by 2s, starting with 16. 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, 30. Okay, good job. Next, we're going to practice going up by 10s. So if you're at 45 and you plus 10, what's the answer? 55. If you're at 89 and you go up 10, what's the next number? 99. If you're at 23 and you go up 10, what's the next number? 33. If you're at 71 and you plus 10, what's the answer? 81. If you're at 132 and you plus 10, 142. If you're at 115 and you plus 10, 123. Or I'm sorry, 125. 115 plus 10 is 125. So you're going up in the tens place, that middle number. Okay, next we're going to do some comparison word problems. Listen, fewer means less. Say fewer. What does fewer mean? Fewer means less. Listen, John had fewer apples than Jane. Say the sentence. Who had more, John or Jane? Jane. Who had fewer, John or Jane? John. Listen to the next story. There were fewer apples than oranges. Say the sentence.